Hello everyone, my name is Vimal Raj. I'm a lecturer from Mechanical Department from James Polytechnic College, Aurangabad, Bihar. So today we're going to discuss on the unit number 3 from Environmental and Pollution Control subject, which is the topic is water pollution, and the lecture that we're going to listen today is about the physical characteristics of water. So the content that we're going to look today are the physical characteristics of water. So there are some physical aspects of water quality that helps to determine whether water is polluted or not. So basically, if we want to check the water, if it whether it is polluted or not, we can check from the physical aspects itself. We don't need to go to the chemical aspects. We can just by observing, by seeing itself, we can identify whether this water is polluted or not. So there are some aspects are being mentioned below, so that we'll go and see it one by one. So first one is the color. Pure water is colorless. Therefore, any type of color appearance in water indicates water pollution. So basically, water. Many people will say that I went to this particular island and I could see the water color is blue, but actually the color of water is white because if it indicates a pure water. So whether the water is pure or not, it has been totally identified by the color of the water. So basically that blue color indicates it's because a reflection of the sky. Because of that the color is being shown as a blue color, but basically the color of the water would be white in color, that is colorless actually, I would say. So if suppose any color appearance happens, if suppose any color appearance happens in the water, that indicates, that clearly indicates that the water has been polluted. So which can we can easily identify that whether this water is polluted or not from this itself. So natural water system is often colored by foreign materials. Its color is due to suspended materials. It is called as apparent color. Color given by dissolved materials that remains even after removal of suspended materials is called true color or real color. So basically natural water system is often colored by foreign material. Basically the water that we see, for example, if we take the mineral waters and all, we used to drink the packed drinking water and all. When we see the water, it's very white in color. I mean, it's colorless, it's transparent actually, would say that. So that shows that the content that is present is it could be a foreign materials. So if suppose any color is there, it could be due to the suspended materials, and it is basically gives the apparent color. So this color can be dissolved and remains even after the removal of the suspended material. So basically this color can even be dissolved in the water even after the removal of the suspended material. So basically that is called as the true color or the a real color, I would say. So the guidelines value acceptable, that maximum acceptable level for color of drinking water is 15 TCU, that is true color unit. So basically this is a maximum value that has been given by government, where in which we can drink the water if suppose the color unit, I mean the true color unit would be 15 TCU. If it is more than that, then it is not recommendable to drink because it is highly not acceptable. So this is the guidelines that has been given, where in which this is the guidelines that we have to follow in order to have a healthy life. So this is an example of the purity of the water. So this shows the transparency of the water color, wherein which the color is should be very transparent. People used to say that I already gave an example. Color of the water is not at all important because it's very very important, I would say. Not important, I'm sorry. It's very important because if the color of the water is muddy or brown in color, grayish green in color, blue in color, it is polluted. So it could be a pollution. Either it could be a chemical particle mixed with the water, or it could be any sort of things that mix in the water, which changes the color actually. This is a small video for you guys to understand the characteristics of water. So I hope you got out. You guys should have understand it. So next point is turbidity. Turbidity is nothing but the pure water is clear and do not absorb light. Okay, therefore, if turbidity appears in water, it indicates water pollution. So pure water, basically what happens is pure water is clear and do not absorb light. That means light cannot travel through the pure water. That means it will not absorb the light, and therefore if turbidity appears in water, it indicates the water pollution. So basically turbidity, I will show you an image so that you can understand. So this is the low turbidity and that is the high turbidity. So from this picture itself you can understand. Let me show you the pointer, laser pointer. So this is the low turbidity and this is high turbidity. So the difference between the low and turbidity is the color. So where in which this point shows pure water is clear and do not absorb light. Therefore, if turbidity appears in water, it indicates water pollution. So turbidity is given by various materials like suspended solid, dissolved materials and microbiolotes. In general, turbidity increase with increase in quantity of these materials in water. However, different material differ in their light absorption capacity. So that means each water has different types of turbidity. That means some might have low turbidity and some might have high and some might have medium turbidity. So it is basically on the dissolved solids and the dissolved materials. Basically how these suspended materials which is dissolved in this water and changes its color as well as changes its turbidity. So some material that gives turbidity may be toxic to consumers. So the color change that is happening, right? So see, when sunlight passes to this, it will not absorb, but when it goes to this, the sunlight it can easily pass through it and it can absorb. This water can absorb the sunlight. So therefore turbidity water is not suitable for drinking purpose. So basically this is not suitable for drinking purposes. That means it might contain some bacteria, germs, all those things. So if we consume, obviously we will face some diarrhea or stomach upset, some kind of disease that we can face. And furthermore, turbidity decrease efficiency of disinfection process. So materials that give turbidity provides attachment sites for toxic chemicals. So these are the toxic chemicals. So it could be a toxic chemical. So materials that give turbidity provides attachment site for toxic chemicals. Turbidity prevents penetration of lights into deeper layer of natural water system that directly affects the photosynthesis organism in the bottom. So turbidity, basically this turbidity will absorb, okay, it will absorb the sunlight and it will not make the light to be transparent. I mean it will not allow that light to travel inside the water, because if you take some ponds and lakes and all, there could be large number of plants that will be living under the water. So for them and all, they need to have they need to have sunlight for the photosynthesis process, right? So what if they doesn't get the sunlight? So if they doesn't get the sunlight, it will be a hectic problem wherein which they will not be able to do the photosynthesis process. So it is a major issue. And turbidity, drinking water should have turbidity less than 5 NTU, that is naphthometric turbidity unit. Okay, so that means it should be very less, that is it should be very less, that 5 NTU. If it's more than 5 NTU, it is not recommendable to drink. Taste and odor. So the next thing is the taste and the odor. Pure water is always tasteless and odorless. That means you will not able to smell anything out of this water. So basically, if the water is there, means you cannot smell you cannot smell the water. That means there will be any smell things will be coming, any fragrant is not will be coming. And pure water is always tasteless. Some people might say that this water is very tasty, and whenever I go to this Coimbatore, I used to drink this Sirvani water, which is very tasty, like that. People used to say that. That means the water doesn't have a taste. Actually, the pure water doesn't have a taste. So the taste is happening because of some of the chemical reaction. Therefore, if any type of taste and odor are present, it indicates water pollution. That is mean, if suppose any taste is coming out of the water, it could be a water pollution. So water taste and odor may develop due to natural artificial region. So it could be of anything of that sort, that is which is like artificial things could have been mixed, and because of that this taste and the smell and the taste could have been coming out. So artificial region for taste and odor in water is due to disinfection process. So chlorination, some natural impurities dissolved in water can also give taste and odor. So basically some natural impurities which could be anything which is subjected to the natural happening, that could be the natural impurities dissolved in water, can also give taste and odor. So inorganic salts like sodium chloride and potassium chloride, etc., dissolves in water, gives taste, whereas compounds like H2S can give both taste and odor. So basically, if suppose any of this kind of salt that is mixing with if it's mixing with this water, can give you the taste, so which is highly not good. So compounds giving taste is subjected to water pollution. That is the taste. If some areas and all, if you go, means the water will be very hard smell, where we cannot even keep it in near our nose, we will not be able to drink those water. So that shows the water is totally polluted. The next one is the temperature. So temperature is not directly used to evaluate whether water is potable, that is drinkable or not. So basically temperature, we cannot say that temperature, because of the temperature it cannot be evaluated whether it is it is consumable or not. So in natural water system like lake and river, temperature is very important physical factor that determines water quality. If temperature increase, solubility of oxygen in water decreases. So basically if the temperature increase in the water, it automatically eradicates the oxygen level. So as I was talking in the previous video, the water pollution, that if suppose water has been polluted and if sudden change in temperature happens because of this power plants and nuclear systems, fish will not be able to adapt to the temperature and they might die. Why? In the sense, because oxygen level in the water could be totally eradicated, because it will be totally removing the oxygen in the water, which causes a tremendous amount of decrease in temperature, decrease in oxygen, which is not recommendable. Furthermore, rise in temperature increases the temperature increase the growth rate of aquatic microorganisms, so they consume dissolved O2 faster, and level of dissolved O2 decreases. That means furthermore, rise in temperature increase the growth rate of aquatic microorganisms. Basically, some bacteria and some germs would be there in the water, which could increase the growth rate of aquatic microorganisms, so that they consume the dissolved oxygen faster, and the level of dissolved oxygen and it will decrease. So similarly, temperature affects disinfection process, because efficiency of disinfection is lower at lower temperature. So similarly, temperature affects disinfection process, because efficiency of disinfection is lower at lower temperature. So basically, when the temperature is very low, the temperature affects the disinfection. So that means the good things that in the water might be eradicated because of the temperature change. Next one is the foam. So foam in water is due to foaming substance like detergents, soaps, etc. dissolved in water. Foam is regarded as a dangerous in natural water system because it creates anaerobic condition. Some foaming substance is toxic to consumers. Therefore, water with foam is not suitable for drinking purposes. That means some water you could see in some ponds and lakes and even in sea also, when we see the waves, the foam will be more. That means the water has been polluted with some of the substance like detergent, soap, or etc., which is dissolved in the water, and even some of the foaming substances which could be toxic for the consumers, wherein which some factories, they are detergent factories or the soap making factories, they used to dump all those waste into the seas and rivers. So when they do like these things, automatically this water will be polluted, and because of that what happens is the water is highly polluted, and because of that the water is not recommendable to drink. So that is the case in foaming process. Next one is conductivity. So conductivity of water is main due to presence of ionizable inorganic compounds. That means water is a good conductor of electricity actually, right? So conductivity of water is mainly due to the presence of ionizable inorganic compounds. So pure water has a very low conductance. For example, 1 mole is for distilled water. Therefore conductivity measurement indicates almost of ionizable inorganic compounds in water. So pure water is has a very low conductance. For example, the distilled water of it's an example, best example. So conductivity of water is very low. Pure water has a low, the conductivity is very low, because see, everywhere we can see that if electricity pass into the water, it is, water is a good conductor of electricity. People used to say that, but actually it is not like that. The pure water is not a good conductor of electricity because it has a very low conductance rate, and because of that only they use this distilled water in the batteries and all. Because if they use a normal water, it could be a good conductor of electricity, and because of that so many things can happen. Because they use this low conductance, because they use this pure water, because of that the conductance is very very less. But see, we used to hear that the electric wire fall into the pond, and people, when they try to go to the pond, they would have been shocked and they've been thrown into the dead and all. We used to hear the news, right? But actually the water is polluted. Because of that the conductance has been totally changed. Okay, next is total dissolved solid, that is TDS. So if water is filtered to remove suspended solid, the remaining solids in the water indicates a total dissolved solid. So basically TDS is very very important in all aspects. For the drinking water, the TDS is very very important, because TDS shows the total dissolved solids in the present in the water. So it is highly important that whether it is consumable or not. So these things are being calculated with the TDS meter, so that wherever we go, we used to do that check, because there could be so much of iron or there could be so much of salt content can be present in the water, which is not recommendable for consumable. So if still they have been taking it, they might face kidney failure or some other diseases. So dissolved solid may be organic, animals or plants waste, or inorganic compounds, carbonates, sulfates, bicarbonate, etc. So these compounds give variety of effects like hardness, taste, odor, etc., depending on nature of dissolved solid. So it could be inorganic as well as it could be organic compounds. So if the dissolved solid in water exceeds 300 mg per liter, it adversely affects living organism as well as the industrial products. That means if it's more than 300, it is highly adversely not to use. So it can affect living organism. So basically the TDS level should be 100 and below 100. That is recommendable. So with this we have come to the conclusion that today we have discussed in detail study on the physical characteristics of water, and these are the reference book that you can go through it. So with this the 9th lecture has been getting over. Thank you guys for listening. So we will see the next topic in the next video. Thank you guys.